Hey everybody and welcome to the bullshit party. And this week on the podium we have the Stirling GT, one of the best classic cars in the entire game. But first we need to win it from the lucky wheel. Oh, never mind. So, I guess in this one we're gonna be looking at the Stirling GT. We're gonna be looking at the exterior, the interior, the performance and customization options we can do in Los Santos Customs. I'm really excited for this one because I always wanted this car to be on the podium, but never thought it would happen. But before we get to reviewing the car, first we need to take care of business. Last week I made a video in which I went through all of my cars in all of my garages. See, I've been kind of running out of garage space, and so I asked you guys, the viewers, to help me decide which car should I get rid of. And most of you suggested to get rid of the duplicate BR8. But bullshit, what do you mean duplicate BR8? Well, since we had sort of a long update, Rockstar re-released the car last Thursday. So anybody who won it originally was eligible to win it again. Cool. Except one problem. You don't really need two of them. You know what? This video is getting boring. Blah 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 blah. Sold it, made no money from it, and now the podium vehicle. And here it is, the Stirling GT. And for those of you who like the technical data of the car, it's a coupe, it costs $975,000, it's located in the sports classic category in GTA Online, and oh man is it gorgeous. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say the inspiration for this car was the Mercedes-Benz 300 SL. A classic car that's still regarded to this day as one of the most beautiful cars ever made. But you don't want to hear about that, you want to see how interactive it is. And I'm very happy to say that you can open both doors, the hood and the trunk on this one. And I have to say, circling it a second time, I still see no faults with it. The gold wing doors look perfect on this car in my opinion. And moving to the front, we can see underneath the hood we have an unmistakable V8. More on the V8 in a little bit, but first let's see the interior. And as far as the interior is concerned, aside from the cool looking side mirrors, it's very generic. But that's to be sort of expected for a car that came out a couple of years ago. But you wanna know what's not generic? And we're gonna do a second sound test as soon as we upgrade the performance of the car. But jeez, it sounds like no other car in the game. And just the obligatory check to see if it's rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, or god forbid front-wheel drive, and no surprises here. We are dealing with a rear-wheel drive vehicle. And with that, we are off to Los Santos Customs to customize it. And I gotta say, my first impression of the vehicle is that it handles exactly how you'd expect. It's difficult for me to describe, but it handles just properly. If now you're looking at the video and you're telling yourself, this probably drives like this and this and this, you're probably right. It drives exactly how it looks. And one quick side note here, the Schlagen GT is one of my favorite cars in the game that I've owned for many years. And I think both cars share some similarities in the way they drive and accelerate. So if you have the chance to pick up the Schlagen GT, go ahead, it's great. But back to this one, and just in time. What? You're watching a bullshit party video. These things are expected. No, these things are required. You're welcome, society. And right about here I noticed the car starting to make a gargling, popping noise when I lay off the gas. All in all, I'm very pleasantly surprised by how unique this car sounds. And as I said a little bit earlier, we're gonna check back with the exhaust note as soon as we exit Los Santos Customs. For now, let's just admire my incredible driving. I mean, just look at it. Except that one. And the driving physics of this car are starting to make sense to me. The stock version of it at least feels more like a muscle car and less like a sports classic. But let's see if the short stay at Los Santos Customs is gonna impact it. And just like usual, the first thing we're gonna do is of course upgrade all the performance options first. Ah yeah, and fix the damage we did to the car on the way over here. Whoops. And one of the benefits of doing the performance options first, it allows me to skim over the customization options as we're going down the list. And I gotta say, I'm starting to get a little worried for the customization of this one. And I probably should be, since this was one of the first GTA Online DLC cars, released in the summer of 2015. That's right, almost 5.5 years ago. And funny, I guess we have a binary option here, rear bumper, yes or no. Okay, let's go over the exhaust options, and we have 3 of them. And I gotta say, looking at all 3, I do prefer the stock exhaust, so we're gonna keep that. Next up we have the grille, and here the story is pretty much the same. And in case you're wondering, no, those are not functional lights. You can choose to have a normal hood or a carbon hood, and that's about it. It's incredible to see how far GTA Online has come in terms to customization of the cars in the 5 years since this one was released. And if the car had limited options, but those options were quality and good, I'd give it a pass. But the customization options here are just laughably bad. And you're probably saying to yourself now, but bullshit, you're probably exaggerating. Yeah, sure I am. Let's look at the spoiler options. I don't know. I think if we tied a donkey to the trunk, it would look better than this. But not by much. And going over all 5 suspension options, the difference is so minuscule that it's basically unnoticeable. And yes, Timmy, all those girls that told you that size doesn't matter, lied to you. Now go in the corner and sit in shame. Good boy. Oh, wait, I was making a video. Anyway, back to the vehicle. As you can see, we're selecting rims for our newly customized vehicle. And I gotta say, this one was probably a mistake in hindsight. I really like the original wheels, but the problem with them is that you can't customize the color on them. Unless of course you're willing to register 5 accounts and download 15 apps from Rockstar, which I'm not gonna do. And after checking to see if we have some tire design that actually matches the personality of this vehicle, and being sorely disappointed, it's time to get to the part of the video that you've all been waiting for. Choosing the window tint. Now, you all know that I like my windows slightly tinted, but I'm gonna make an exception for this vehicle. I think it looks perfect the way it is. Actually, scratch that, one moment. There, perfect. Anyway, as I was saying before I made that horrible joke, it's time to see the poll from the week before last. And I gotta say, I'm very disappointed. The sandwich didn't get enough votes to be on top. The winning color was Saxon Blue with almost 50% of your votes. But if you want to make it up to me, make sure you like the video and subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. And maybe buy me a sandwich or two? Anyway, as I'm looking through all the colors, I gotta say this car looks amazing in most of the ones that we've already went through. But this week, the poll and the color somehow matched perfectly. Saxon Blue is definitely this car's color. And since I want to keep things a little bit more classical for this one, I'm gonna choose the secondary color the same as the primary one. Sorry Mr. Pink, you're not gonna be selected for this one. And with that, there's only one thing left to do here in Los Santos Customs. And that's to hide the rims a little bit so they're not as noticeable as they are now. There you go. Wasn't funny the first time? Okay. So I guess we're just gonna change the color of them. And as I said a little bit ago, I wanted something that's gonna make them stand out a little bit less. So we're gonna go with black. Is that still okay to say, or do Rockstar need to rename all their colors? Anyway, we're done here, now it's time to go out and see what this car is actually capable of when it's fully upgraded. So far, I'm not impressed, but probably I should wait and see to actually start driving it. And one more thing, I'm actually curious to know if you guys like the look of this car. Let me know in the comment section down below, rate it between 1 and 10. As for the car's performance, it has changed, but not drastically. And keep in mind that this is not one of those vehicles that's gonna help you win any races or outrun the police. This, in my opinion, is the perfect city cruiser. An incredibly fun car to drive around that looks very, very beautiful. And for those of you who have been waiting to hear how it sounds, well, here's a taste. And I hope the crackle and gargle at the end when I lay off the gas translated well through video. This car honestly sounds like nothing I've ever heard in GTA Online, and that's a good thing. And it's also weird because, as I said, it's an old vehicle. And just like the stock version of the car, I'm probably gonna repeat myself in saying it feels very much like a muscle car. Heavy, direct steering and a slippery back, planted very well on the ground and can direct its weight. The biggest negative I can say about this car is that the customization is not really there, at least for me it's not. But if customization is not really your thing and you're just looking for a cool car to drive, this is a perfect fit. You can't really get much cooler in life than driving a 300 SL Mercedes. And to answer if this car is worth it or not, we need to take a look at what you're gonna use it for. If you're gonna use it for crashing, it's perfect for that. If you're gonna use it for racing, not so much. But if you're looking for a cool vehicle that's sort of capable to explore the open world with, this is probably a perfect fit for you. And if you're seeing this video in the week it was released, then this is the current Podium vehicle. And if that's the case, I think this one's a no-brainer. It's totally worth it. And if you're paying $1 million for it and the customization thing is not a big deal for you, then it's worth it for you as well. And with that, I think we're at the end of the video. Thank you so much to everybody who watched, hopefully you liked what you saw, and if that's the case, please don't forget to leave a nice big like. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, or if you're a subscriber, tell your friends to subscribe, because the faster we grow, the cooler the videos are gonna get. And with all that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. That fall could have gone better, but I guess it could have been worse. There we go.